cut timber square as usual. Once you've squared the timber, you can use it to mark out the joint. Place it flush one end to set the length of the joint we're going to do. Not forgetting face side, face edge. Square round from the face side and from the face.
Middle afterwards. 180.
Notice I'm staying on the face side there, and then going back to the face edge. Mark it round. The line should meet. It's a good way of checking. You need to put it in the centre now because we're forming a T halving. So the timber's 180mm long. So I've marked 60mm from the end. And I'm going to square the line round once more. Face side, face edge. Timber being used in this is carcassing, so it's not the best quality. Again, squaring the line. Using this to set the width of the joint now. Line it up nice and flush. Set us the width. And square off the face. Down the edge now.
You don't have to know where the middle is. Just guess. Stick the pin in. Like that. Put it back in. You should go back in the same hole.
So we've done the marking now downwards. So we need to find the middle with the marking gauge. So you can set the pin, find the centre. So you can measure halfway, or you can guess and then adjust it back and forth. So the pin should go in the same hole. Turn it round, it should drop back in that same hole. And we know we found the middle then. Use the mark now. You can put it in the vise if you want to. Just a nice gentle line. Give you a positive place for the chisel to sit in when we're chiseling out. Mark the other side. You don't have to put a pencil line in there. Just makes it clearer on the video. Mark your waist. So we're going to put lots of saw cuts in the middle. The first cut should be right on the waist side of that line. So just leaving a little bit of the line left there. Do the two outside ones first. And cut in there. And cut in right next to that line. So we mark in there. Just the waist. On the face again. Just marking. Across the end grain now. Remember it's like a bunch of straws, so it's quite difficult to use the marking gauge. So it's easier to put in a vise. If you start nice and gentle with the marking gauge, gentle lines, dig in slowly. Down the edge as well. Mark with a pencil if you want. You don't have to write waist, you can just scribble it out. So now we've got timber marked out. Once you've got to that point, try and show it to whoever's teaching you so they can check you've got the right width. So clamp your bench hook in a vise, nice steady platform to work with. Same technique for sawing, pull back a few times and we're cutting down to the line. Okay, so you can check on one side, look over the other side, make sure you're not going past the line. Be careful not to like seesaw, so you're touching the lines both sides and the middle is still there, so you want to concentrate on keeping the saw nice and flat, so you've cut down to the lines, not through them. Okay, so you can check that afterwards. It's just down to the line to be cut off. As you've got the bench hook out, you may as well do the cuts on the other joint. Speed things up a bit. So right by the waist side again, down to the line, checking the line closest to you first, and then looking over, check the other side, keep the saw nice and flat. Repeat that on the waist side line for the width. Once you've done the two outside lines, you don't have to concentrate on cutting squares so much, so we can just put a good few saw cuts in the middle, because it just makes it easier when you come to chisel out. So lots of saw cuts, nice and flat. Okay, check afterwards then, you come down to the line with all the cuts. We finish with the bench hook for now. You can finish cutting off with a tenon saw now, following the lines, cutting the waist side. Remember, half laps should just be 2 saw cuts per piece of timber. You shouldn't have to play around with it with a chisel afterwards. Now this one we have to chisel out. You start with the chisel facing upwards, so the angle is pushing the timber up out of the way. Clear away as much of the waste you can, so stay away from the line. You want to get rid of the bulk of the timber. Remember, turn it round in the vise because it's safer, so you're not chiselling towards yourself, you're always chiselling away from yourself. Now you've cleared the majority of the waste from both sides, you can turn the chisel round, use the marking gauge line as a positive locator for the chisel, and just give it a few taps in from this side to clean out a little bit. And then I'm going to flip it round again because we're chiseling away from ourselves. Chisel nice and flat, locked into your line, and you can clean out. Should give you a nice clean flat surface. Then put in the other piece of timber and you formed a nice tight joint, hopefully.